Alright, so now on to glyphs. Well, for the glyphs for a Windwalker monk, basically there is no really mandatory options per se. And all you're gonna go like, oh, you're all wrong and such, but really there isn't any that will increase your DPS that much as a Windwalker. The two I would recommend though is Touch of Karma, which basically increases the range to 20 yards. And basically, it redirects all the damage you take over 6 seconds up until your maximum health. And basically, that's really good for if you're first off in PvP. And second off, if you are in a raid and you're taking a lot of damage, let's say from the boss, let's say the tank dies or something. This is a very good ability to pop then. Now you also have your Glyph of Spinning Crane Kick, which basically lets you to move at full movement speed. This is very good if there's a lot of AoE during the boss fight or like trash, because with the normal Spinning Crane Kick, I think it reduces your movement speed by 30%. I don't think it says it here though. Yeah, I think it's 30% if I'm not mistaken. You can write in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Now, Glyph at the Afterlife, it's just a personal preference of mine. Basically increases the chance to summon a healing sphere whenever you attack something, or when you kill an enemy. Sorry, not when you attack something. When you kill an enemy, that will give you like experience or honor of some sort. So basically, this is also really good on like ad fights, because what the healing sphere does, it lands on the ground, and if a raid member runs through it or you run through it, you get healed. So it's pretty nice bonus, especially for the healers that are going like, oh my god, this is impossible to heal, I'm gonna kill myself, basically. And now, for the minor glyphs, if we scroll down to here, yeah, there was a lot of major glyphs, by the way. If you're gonna have to customize it yourself how you want yours to be set up, but personally that's how I like my major glyphs. Now for the minor glyphs here, as you can see, there's a couple of different, well, more than a couple. A lot of minor glyphs, but not as many as major glyphs. Now, there really isn't any that increase your DPS per se. Besides, well, I'll talk about Blackout Kick in a sec, because theoretically it could, but we'll talk about that in a sec. So the glyphs I like that is the Glyph of Flying Serpent Kick, which basically once you hit an enemy, you'll automatically land. So instead of having to play it by seeing on your screen and then accidentally missing your target or something for that damage once you land, this will automatically let you land once the target, like once you're on top of the target. Now for Glyph of Jab, basically it lets you use your hands instead of your weapons, which doesn't really make much of a difference. Like no numbers, it's just graphics. Now Glyph of Zen Flight. Basically, I like this because it basically acts like a flying mount. It doesn't go close to as fast, but it's just cool graphics and everything. Like, look at this. You get clouds coming out from your bottom of your pants, or whatever you want to say. You got glowing orbs in your hands. Like, it just looks cool building. Oh, and you even get a glowing stream. That's kind of nice. Anyhow, so yeah, those are the glyphs that I like, but there's so many cool glyphs in here. Like, there's some of these glyphs, like I believe it's a rising tiger kick that turns your rising tiger kick here from red to white, which is actually really cool. But the one I want to talk about here is the Glyph of Blackout Kick. Basically, if you have troubles standing behind the boss at all times, like let's say you lose track in your DPS rotation, you're not paying attention where you're standing, Glyph of Blackout Kick might help you, because with Blackout Kick, the thing is, if you stand in front of the target, once you kick, it'll actually heal you, but if you're behind the target, it'll actually put a dot on the enemy. So theoretically, you could say Glyph of Blackout Kick should increase your DPS slightly, but only if you really have problems staying in, like, not staying behind the boss or the mobs. So that's up to you how you want to set that up. So yeah, if you have problems with staying behind the boss, use this glyph. That's basically the only mandatory one. Now on to, okay, let's do buffs. Alright, so basically buffs, as you can see here, there's a crap ton here. That's because of these Scourge dudes down here providing the buff for raid testing. But the ones I want to talk about are the Legacy of the Emperor and the Legacy of the White Tiger. The Legacy of the White Tiger basically increases your crit chance by 5%. And then your Legacy of the Emperor increases your strength, agility, and intellect by 5%. And this targets all party or raid members, so you don't have to worry like some of those stupid glyphs or shaman totems or whatever that only provide group buffs, or I don't even know if they do anymore, just provide group buffs. But if they do, then yeah, you don't have to worry about that with the monk. Now let's go on to, let's say, gems. So the gems, there's going to be a link up here of what gems to use, so I won't have to go over them. Basically, you follow the stat priority, and you usually will follow your socket bonuses because of the fact that your secondary stats are now going to be buffed because of the gems. Because if you didn't know, the secondary stats are double the amount of the primary stats. So let me explain. Let's say if you have 200 agility in a gem. I can't even remember the numbers right now. Well, the crit gems in this expansion will now be 400 crit, so that'd be a nice kind of interesting way to match socket bonuses. I'm assuming that's how it's going to work too, that if you have an agility socket bonus compared to a sick crit socket bonus, the crit one's going to be double. It doesn't mean though the thing is going to be double the worthwhile to actually socket it, but it could if the math works out like that. Now for enchants, here's also something that I'll tell you what enchants to use. Basically follow these enchants and you'll be, I'd say, quite good. Some of them might be a little bit expensive, so you might want to go in the lesser forms of it. If you need the lesser forms of it, sorry, I don't actually know all of them. And yes, I have an enchanting book, but at the time when I was leveling, there weren't really much enchanting mats going around, so it's kind of hard to get my enchanting up, as you can see here. But hopefully you guys are able to find some good enchants for yourself. These are the ones I recommend though, so stick with those. Now let's go on to consumables here. Well, the consumables right here is agility increased by 600. I actually don't know what food buff that is particularly. I think it's the sea mist rice noodles, and basically the base sea mist rice noodles give you 300 agility, but if you do the quest to increase the amount of agility you gain by food, it'll actually double it. So I'm assuming this is what it is, but it doesn't actually tell me here, so bear with me on that. I don't know. Now for the flask, the flask of spring blossoms is the one I found is the best. It's 1,000 agility and lasts for an hour and persists through death. This also counts as a battle elixir and a guardian elixir, so you have to remember that. You can't use anything else while this is on. But yeah, it's a very good flask, especially for raiding. But they're probably going to be very expensive when MOP launches. Now for potions, I don't actually have any of the potions to show you what it looks like, but the potions are called Vermin's Bite, and basically it gives you 4,000 agility for 25 seconds. Holy crap, that's a lot of agility, and it only has a minute cooldown. So if you pre-pop before the fight, that's basically, I would say, like a heroism for yourself. That is a huge amount of agility. Let's see, what haven't I talked about? Okay, the rotation, and I also have to talk about how to reforge. Okay, so for reforging, basically you can follow my Winderwalker stat priority. Basically, right now in the beta as is, you'll want 7.50% hit, because no matter what, you're not going to get your offhands to hit. It's just like a rogue, and you just want your special abilities to hit. Right now I got 7.64. I know I'm a little bit over, but that's fine. Isn't too bad because you're still gaining a little bit of DPS from that. Now expertise. That is a good question for expertise. I should have probably done the math before this, so let me do it now so I don't look like a total noob. So you want I have 3.60% right now. So that means the expertise cap is going to be 11.1% expertise, at least from what it looks like right now. That's just a general math I'm doing. But yeah, that is a lot of expertise. But you can get that eventually. You're probably gonna need like at least blue gear quality, like all your slots in order to reach that expertise clap or even come close. But whatever, it's the beginning of the expansion, and most of us are gonna be way under geared for the content as is once we step into the raids. Now let's see. I guess there's nothing else to show you besides the rotation. Oh, the professions. I never talked about professions. Huh. Go Eld. I can't remember anything. Alrighty then, so basically the professions right now that I can see are going to be the best ones are going to be probably leatherworking, because on bracers you can gain 500 agility, which is quite large actually for an enchant. This does not stack with the enchanting for bracers, so if you are a leather worker, don't expect to have the enchant from enchanters and your leatherworking bonus to your wrist. And then the next one is the engineering buff. This one has been fluctuating back and forth in the beta. Sometimes it's really high and sometimes it's really low. So we'll have to see how that turns out. I would say right now though that would probably be your second best option. And basically I think right now in the beta it gives something like 330 agility to bracers or something like that. 340, something like that. I can't remember because I'm not personally an engineer. But yeah, it's a huge bonus, and every minute you can pop in lasts for 10 seconds. So that is well worthwhile to actually level up your engineering and get those glove enchants. I do not believe it stacks with enchanting though. So if you wanted to get some type of enchant on your gloves besides the engineering enchant, sorry, you're out of luck there, but there isn't much you can really do. So yeah, now we're gonna go on to the rotations, cooldowns, AoEing, etc.